What's going on, family? Y'all already know what time it is. Here with another episode of Cameo Nero Cartel. I had a question today from a subscriber that asked me, "What are your thoughts on polygamy?" I know that you practice polygamy, and I want to know, how do you make it work, right? So polygamy is pretty much just the philosophy and the action and the lifestyle that a man would take on if he has many wives. All right. Now, these are lawful and spiritual wives, okay, not legal wives. For those of us that don't understand the difference between lawful and legal, you should look it up, okay? Just because something is illegal doesn't mean that it's unlawful, all right? There are laws of nature, right? There are laws of man, right? And then there are ordinances, right? And codes, all right? So as long as what you're doing is for the benefit of society and you're causing harm, or not causing harm rather, to anyone or any property, then a man is free to do what he will, what he wants to do. Okay. So, and once again, a man is able to do what he wants to do and when he wants to do it, as long as he's not causing harm to anyone or any property. All right. So that's one of our God-given rights. All right. So, again, with the current situation in society, right, where there's a lack of eligible men that are able, physically, financially, spiritually, mentally, all right, to take on the responsibility of being a father and being a husband to women in many households, then some men have to step up in order to fulfill that role, fulfill that position. So, in my case, the reason and the root cause for me having to do what I'm doing is because of the lack of eligible men that are able to do what I do. All right. So, to answer the question of the subscriber that asked me, how do I make it work? It's all based on one word, right? Or two words, rather, right? Respect and communication, right? I'm a big advocate on respect. Respect is so important to me. I think that you can climb mountains as long as you have respect. And secondly, communication. With me, I don't tolerate any disrespect at all whatsoever in my relationship with my women, whether it's from me to them to me, or to them to each other. That's a no-go, all right? Because once the respect is out the window, everything else follows, all right? So as long as there's respect and communication between each other, everything else is going to follow in suit, all right? All of my women know about each other. I'm not a man that lies, right? It takes too much work to lie and have to keep up with a lie that you told yesterday to this person. And then you know, if you get caught in a lie, you look like a fool and you look like a coward, right? So I'm not a coward, and I tell people straight up, this is what it is. You know, what I do with you has to do with me and you, but anything outside of me and you doesn't have anything to do with me and you. It's not going to affect you in any way, unless you choose to allow it to affect you, right? But if it doesn't, then don't go looking for something to affect you, when in reality, it doesn't, right? It's like for those of us that go looking for a problem, generally you find it, right? For those of us that look for peace and prosperity in life, you find it, right? It's kind of like that old saying, you know, knock on the door, right? And the door shall be open to you. Same thing goes with relationships or goals in life, right? So that's how I make my relationship work. Respect, communication, love, and everything else that comes after that, right? But generally, with my women, what I do, I don't enter into a relationship for for love. I enter into relationships for logic. Does it make sense? You know, why am I with this woman? She can offer me children. She can take care of me and my needs when I need her to do so physically, right? And she can offer me the motivation that I need and guidance that I need, right? If I need it, And sometimes a man will lift mountains and move mountains for his woman. So it's good to have a woman, right? Because that can be a reason that you go to war. And many wars have been fought over women, right? So every fire has to have wood, right? Every fire has to have that root source that is able to burn, right? And to keep it ignited. And women generally do that for men, right? Which is reason why a lot of guys put the big rims on their car and go get the new fancy paint job, right? Or get the leather seats, right? Or get that big house, right? Or wear the Rolex watch and the silk business suits made in Italy, right? It's not for each other. We put that stuff on so we can attract women, right? And keep the women that we do have happy. So that's just it in a nutshell of how to make polygamous relationships work. You enter into it not based on love, but on logic, right? You tell the woman, I can give you what you want, and you're going to give me what I want. We're going to work together as a team, because as a team, we accomplish more in life than we do separate, right? I won't focus on the things that I don't need to focus on with you, and you don't focus on the things that you don't need to focus on with me, right? I'm going to fulfill my duties. I'm going to fulfill my role with you 110%, but I'm going to expect the same from you. And if I'm taking care of you financially, right, because I don't believe in the 50-50 deal, right, because there's no 50-50 in a relationship with me. We both put 100% in, but our roles are different, right? Just like the male lion and the female lion, we have different roles, right? And we fulfill our roles to the 100th percentile, and it works, right? At the end of the day, we bring the zebra home and everybody eats, all right? So hopefully that answers your question about how polygamy works for me, all right? Life is short. Live yours to the maximum, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone, all right? And I want you to try your best to touch as many lives as you can in yours, because life is short, and before you know it, our time is up, and it's time to pass the torch. That's another reason why I practice polygamy, because I want to set an example and be an influence and reach out and touch as many lives as I can. And I can't do that living in a small bubble and only touching the lives of very few people, right? And supporting very few people, all right? As always, family, much love, peace, and we'll see you on the next one. Camionero Cartel.